Un tipo de rueda de prensa en el cual cada contestación, una será en castellano, otra en...
I think exciting things about Mandy is there is a pretty good amount of humor in it, and Cass has a great sense of humor, and I like to have moments that are funny, and when they were right, we would experiment with that. So even though this character is going through a tremendous amount of pain, there are moments in the movie that I think can bring a laugh. One of my favorite moments, making a statement, "You ripped my shirt." I wanted it to be a question, which was also a statement, "Did you rip my shirt?" And I heard it like music. So I would say, "Did you rip my shirt? Did you rip my shirt?" And I think that's a very funny moment in the middle of all that.
First of all, I wanted to welcome you and thank you for coming to Sitges and congratulate you on the award and generally being you.
Thank you for inviting me.
I didn't do it personally.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I'm very happy to be back in this part of the world. And I know this is an important festival, 51 years, and we all celebrate the same genre, and I'm happy to be here. So.
Yeah. You've spoken in the past about the importance of the influence of German expressionism in your performances, and I've also heard you talk about certain performances in terms of musical genres like jazz, rock, and what have you. I want to know what the attraction of German expressionism, apart from the catharsis, which I kind of gathered, what the attraction of German expressionism is to you, and both the movie Mandy and your performances read in Mandy, what musical genre would you put that in?
Well, I grew up, my father would play these movies. He had a projector, and he had a collection of extraordinary art films. And one of them was Nosferatu. Another one was Metropolis. Another one was Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. And they all gave me nightmares. I was watching these movies when I was like 6 years old. And those images just went into my body and never left. So when I discovered James Dean in East of Eden, and I found the power of film performance in terms of the emotion that you can convey, and I decided at that moment I wanted to be a film actor. As I got further down my path, all those memories that my father gave me from the German expressionistic films had to come out. And I began to realize that I needed to find scripts, vehicles, if you will, that would enable me to realize those more ontological dreams in terms of performance. So I was adamant about trying to find ways of becoming more abstract within the context of a very naturalistic world in cinema. And I was blessed because I was working with, I don't know how I got so lucky, I was working with filmmakers that didn't shy away from it, but were curious about it and enabled me to sculpt these images with them. Most direct correlation would be Moonstruck. The moment where I said, "I lost my hand, I lost my bride," and I'm holding it up. Johnny has his hand, Johnny has his bride. Well, that came out of Metropolis because the mad scientist rips off his glove and does that. And I said, I've got to do that in a movie. So it turned out to be Vampire's Kiss. It turned out to be Moonstruck. That was my mind when I was playing Red. But when I saw the movie and I was thrilled with the marriage of the soundtrack as well as the song at the beginning and then the various performances, I would have to say, but I think he would know better than me, but metal would be my instinct about that.
Seguramente si había rumores de que perdón, si había estos rumores de que haremos un alternativo a las mismas.
I want to act eternally if possible, but I also at some point would like to get back into film direction when I can. I've made my statement on that matter, and I have nothing more to say about it.
Gracias.
And by the way, there was nothing about that, so just to be clear.
Muchas gracias. Segunda pregunta.
Yeah, I have a question to Mr. Cage. To what extent do you think that the traditional concept of the star system is distorted due to the social media?
I'm sorry, say that again?
So yeah, the traditional concept of the star system.
What is the concept of the star system and social media?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't.
¿Quieres decirlo en castellano?
Sí, vale. Si tenemos una idea, el concepto tradicional del star system, que quizás con los medios sociales con las redes sociales se ha desvirtuado
Yeah.
bastante.
If the social network has affected the concept that traditionally audiences had about the star system.
Yes, I would say so. I, again, got into film performance because I wanted to be James Dean. I mean, not only be James Dean, but that was my inspiration. But that was a different time. I think with the advent of reality TV and social media, and the fact that pretty much anyone really can be famous for any reason today, not always pertaining to craft and sincere want to express in the arts, is a new development. And I think it is a direct result of the kind of social media and the internet empire, if you will, as well as reality television.
A raíz de las redes sociales sirven también como un poquito de altavoces, de amplificadores, no solo ya para la diseminación de noticias, sino también para diseminar rumores. Bajo su punto de vista, ¿hasta qué punto los rumores son vitales para la visibilidad de una serie de cine?
Okay.
There has been this kind of, I would guess we could call it even a phenomenon as far as it pertains to some of my facial expressions that have gone viral. Memes, these mashups, this whole cage rage thing. But I think it's both good and not so good. I think it's like, cherry picking moments without the context of the entire movie behind it. So it kind of doesn't really get qualified. I understand that it can be amusing, but I think that if you look, some younger generations might look at it and they may get inspired to check out the movie. So I think the positive element is that it's kept me relevant and it's kept me topical. And
Can I say something?
yeah, go for it.
Just disparagingly call it a Tumblr page of a movie, but just like a series, basically like a series of GIFs in movie form. But I actually took that as a huge compliment.
¿Cómo ideó la escena en la que hay el duelo de sierras eléctricas? Y a Nicolás quería preguntarle cómo se preparó para esta escena y si cree que puede pasar a la historia del cine como el famoso duelo de Star Wars.
There's been not a lot, but there's been a history of great chainsaw fights throughout film. Probably starting with Dark of the Sun, and then Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and then my personal favorite would be Phantasm 2, which we kind of draw from a bit in this film. I mean, maybe this is the lightsaber duel for psychopaths. I don't know. Worked on Ben Cook, who's worked on Thor Ragnarok and Casino Royale, and he designed with me, and I think it's both really amazing kind of choreography. And it was just a matter of finding the most efficient way to capture that within the 1 day that we had to film.
One day, yeah? Okay. Sí, la escena va ser coreografiada per un especialista que es diu Mandy, que havia treballat també a Ragnarok i a Casino Royale i havia de ser un professional molt eficient perquè s'havia de rodar en un sol dia. Nicolas, if you want to add something about the chainsaw scene.
Well, first of all, kids like to play with laser swords, so in that sense, I hope not. Chainsaw toys or what have you, but I think it's different. I think that Mandy is unlike anything else, and so I wouldn't really be able to parallel it to Star Wars. In terms of what it was like preparing and how I got into it, I had been in a wheelchair for 3 months, had an accident, broke my leg, and so I had been in that situation, and I almost didn't make the movie because of that situation, but Panis and I agreed to move forward, and I got out of the chair, and I started working with Ben Cook, and the most amazing thing happened. it rehabilitated my leg, and I started moving better, I started walking better. And then the anger of being in a wheelchair and feeling trapped all just went in to the performance during the chainsaw scene and the battle axe scene. So it wasn't, I really didn't have to act. I was just finally, I was free and I was walking and I was just, getting it all out. So I think in that regard it helped.
My visual inspirations for this one, on my first film I used a lot of specific shots from other films for color, tones and things like that, but I felt more confident on this one just kind of drawing my own life. So I think one of my biggest inspirations would just be like sitting in a parked car with the taillights on and seeing the smoke in your rearview mirror, about being illuminated by red when you're smoking and joining your car, I wanted to say something about Ben-Hur. Ben-Hur. Somebody brought up Ben-Hur earlier, and I really think there's actually a very strong correlation between the character of Red Miller and Ben-Hur, as well as, to a lesser extent, Ash from the Evil Dead films. I think Charlton Heston really loved sort of positing himself as a martyr character. He loved to have his characters suffer, and it was all about gritting his teeth. And at the end of Omega Man, he literally dies in cruciform. And I've always just found that extremely kind of powerful. Yet also there's something very comical about the suffering of Heston as a performer. But yeah.
Okay.
I think there's a little bit of that in the Red Miller character.
We're all big fans of Charlton Heston, so Frederick preguntaba por que considera que la película tiene una gran fuerza visual y musical, y le preguntaba a Panos sobre su inspiración tanto desde el punto de vista visual como musical. Sí que admite que para la primera peli, para Beyond the Black Rainbow, sí que había trabajado mucho los colores específicos, los tonos específicos de cada momento, de cada plano. Sin embargo, como es su segunda película, se encontraba mucho más seguro de sí mismo, y a pesar de planearlo, ya salió de una manera mucho más natural, y pone como ejemplo que él ahora, pues una de las cosas que para inspirarse que utiliza es sentarse en el coche y ver los diferentes efectos de luz cuando sale el humo del tubo de escape, también con los efectos que hace visto en el parabrisas trasero. Volvemos a
I wanted the film, what I was really trying to do was give the film like an elemental feeling, that everything is born of fire and water and earth. And my first film was very sterile kind of, but I wanted this film I wanted it to feel very elemental, wind and smoke and debris, and everything just feel like it's being born of the earth.
Unos colores volviendo a los elementos, muy como los elementos, como tierra, agua, que quería que fuera humo.
Muchas gracias. Nos vemos esta tarde en el auditorio.